This is our favorite way to get to DIA. So I live near downtown. It's a bit easier for me to use this particular method of getting out to the airport. But in this video, I'm going to break down all of the different ways you can get to the airport and the costs with driving, taking an Uber, and even parking out at Denver International. First, a quick Uber ride. So Union Station is where all of the RTD train lines meet, right at this station, and this is where the A line actually takes off from, runs east through Denver, and drops you off right at the terminal at the Denver International Airport. That's the best part. It's just hassle-free for us. No parking, no dealing with traffic, but it might make sense for you to drive in some cases. So I'm going to break down the costs of parking and talk about some of the timelines for getting to the airport and talk about rideshare. Uber has become very expensive, and we'll talk about that cost as well. Got my tickets here, $10 a piece per person out to the airport. We have about an hour and a half to spare, so we're going to go into Union Station. This is why we like coming this way.
We always love Union Station for food. There's so much going on here. There are award-winning restaurants like Tavernetta, Sunday Vinyl that are right within walking distance. And then across from Union Station, there's even places like Wynkoop, which is this really great kind of classic Denver brewery. But then within Union Station, there are so many different options. There are grab-and-go options if you're in a rush. There are fancy restaurants like Stoic and Genuine if you want to do a seafood dinner and you're fancy like that before your flight. But there's also Mercantile, which is a great, how would you describe Mercantile? Like all-American?
Yeah.
So there's also Mercantile, which is a really great all-American menu. And then here is Terminal Bar, which is just a really, really cool space. It has great cocktails, really good selection of beers, and actually a really great menu too. There's a lot of Mexican-inspired food on here. I'm getting al pastor tacos. We obviously have guacamole here, but there's also things like burgers. Yeah, and this guacamole, the second this got here, I was told that I had to do this and couldn't eat, and now you're gonna eat in front of me. So anyway, lots of really great options. There's ice cream, there's coffee, there are flowers.
Cheers. All right, we've got a few minutes before our train gets here, and I want to talk a little bit about the other ways to get to Denver International Airport. You see, Union Station is great for us because we live pretty close by, and we can either have a friend or family member or an Uber take us on a cheap, quick ride over to Union Station so that we can enjoy all the incredible restaurants, this beautiful space, the bar, the terminal bar itself. We have lots of options for just hanging out and a really hassle-free way to get to the airport. We don't have to worry about traffic or parking our car, but there are times where we feel like we don't have the time for Union Station to hang out here, or we don't have a friend or a family member to get us to the train. So we drive, and for lots of people in the suburbs or who aren't in central Denver, it's going to be much easier in many cases for you to load all of your stuff in the car and park out at DIA or get an Uber. Let's first talk about driving. So depending on where you are in the Denver metro area, if you're in far southwest metro area and you're going to hit traffic on the way to DIA up around E470, you're probably looking at an hour plus in traffic to get to the airport. Any further away, you can guarantee you're going to be over an hour away. Even from Denver alone, from central Denver, without traffic at all, it's 30 minutes away to the airport. So imagine adding rush hour into the mix, a popular time to travel, and you're definitely ticking on minutes to that drive. So let's now talk about parking, because when you get all the way out there, you're going to need a place to leave your car for however many days, and it's a daily rate no matter where you park out by the Denver International Airport. The cheapest parking available are lots further away from the airport, like the Pikes Peak lot. Those typically run about $8 a day. A shuttle comes and picks you up and brings you over to the terminal. The biggest problem with these outdoor lots, in my opinion, is wintertime. If it's really cold and you're parked far away, you're going to spend quite a bit of time shivering in the cold, bumping around in that that shuttle to get over to the airport. It's not that big of a deal. It's a few minutes, but it's inconvenient. There are lots. The actual outdoor lot right by the terminal is $18 a day, I believe, and then the garage itself is $30 a day. Let's talk Uber or Lyft or rideshare. Whatever you use, it's not cheap. Right now, I just checked. It's late afternoon right now on a Friday. And an Uber would cost us $55 to get out to the airport just from Union Station. If you're any further out, obviously you can tack on more time. Now, I will say I've paid much, much more than that to get back from the airport when we've gotten in at weird times. A late flight in, and you order an Uber, and I've seen close to $100 after you give a decent tip to your driver. So it really adds up quickly to rideshare. Ultimately, you have to decide what makes the most financial sense for you or what's most convenient, whatever your most important factor is. But those are the different ways to get to DIA. Best way, in my opinion, is beg friends or family member to drive you out there themselves and drop you off for free. Let's get to the train. So there you go, 35 minutes from Union Station to the Denver International Airport, and we are walking straight into the terminal. We're not walking through a cold parking lot or waiting in traffic. We're paying lots of money for an Uber. And you can even check your bag on this level and head straight up to security. Pretty cool. So this is my favorite way to get to DIA. Let me know in the comments, how are you getting here? What's your favorite? See you next time.